Violence pumps in my veins. I would like to walk my 3 little sweethearts, Daisy, Princess and Cupcake, unleashed. And if they feast on someone, I did not support the action, I encouraged it. Hello and welcome people to Warhammer Vermintide 2. I've been playing it quite a lot, alone and with friends, and it has been quite of a fun experience. Maybe too much fun. There have been times when I transformed into a lunatic and shouted random hysterical words while I was playing with my friends. Their response? What the fuck is wrong with you? They might think I'm insane, but I think I'm perfectly fine. I just like slashing my sword through hordes of enemies and going berserk mode. Vermintide 2 is like Left 4 Dead, but better. There are different missions, special enemies and hordes every few seconds. We have 6 whole campaigns, 2 side content expansions and 1 secret level. Each campaign tells a different story. The first one is the largest one, and the end of each act there are boss battles. There are 3 types of infestations you have to exterminate. Big mutated rats who are the most satisfying to kill cause they die in one hit, except they are plague monks which destroy my ass. Of course, you might have these weak creatures, but they are the big boys, the rat ogres, and if you are standing next to a cliff, death. Most of my fails have been me flying towards my inevitable doom. Besides the rat ogre, his crooked brother, the storm fiend, is in my opinion the easiest monster to fight in the whole game. Besides, if you're not stuck in a narrow tunnel, he only shoots inflamed weed and his weak spot is a small, fucked up, fleshy rat. One which has to be hit and endure the constant harassment and mockery of the living. A small underdeveloped person with a disabled body and lashed to a chair its entire life. A person with a grown man's developed brain with advanced intellect in a forever forsaken crippled body. Judged by the outside world, eternally casted aside by society and left to die in a cruel world with no other help besides death. A ruthless world which does not forgive. The next forces are the crack addicts, or also known as chaos. They vary from your typical homeless mad fans to the average heavily armored Zaza enjoyers. The Biotroll is one of their monsters which, because of its severe alcohol consumption and damaged organs, constantly throws up vile toxic acids. It's fat, tall and ugly, just like a deranged alcoholic. The Chaos Spawn is the worst monster of them all. Just like the Rat Ogre, he can send you to outer space, but besides that he can bash you like a child with a toy, or suck you so hard you become physically limited. The last kind of infestations are the Furries, the most annoying enemy of them all, which even if hit, still manage to tickle your balls and are the only unit with common range units. Their monster unit is nothing unique besides ramming itself into you like a battering ram. There are many special spawn units like the Assassin, the Packmaster, the Gas Rat, the Rattling Gunner, the Greedy Rat, Flamethrower Rat, the Blightstormer and the Life Leech. For the specials who vigorously thirst in you or suck your soul, there is an easy godsend mechanic: dodging. Every time the Packmaster wants to stick his large, sticky, wet branch in you, dodge sideways. Or if the Leech wants to suck your juicy, dripping, flavorful soul, dodge again. Even if the big monsters attack you, you can just dodge their attacks. It's a lifesaver. It's the spacebar and the moving keys to dodge. Besides dodging, there is blocking. By holding right click you can block, but he has stamina shoots. When you get hit, one shot gets wasted. Except the elites who break your whole stamina. With the stamina you can push enemies and stun them for 1 second, but every weapon has different stamina bars and attributes. Each character has different unique items and there are 5 different ones you can play as. My most favorite, most played, the best and shining in gold character is Markus Kruberus. He's excellent for me. I only use the Executioner Sword because the other weapons are useless, not because I'm trash at the game. And for a gun, I use the Repeater Handgun because it transforms to a very scuffed minigun. Each character has 4 careers, each with different abilities. My main class is the Mercenary because he's based. It's very good against large groups of pests and deals considerably good damage. There is a guide for each class for each character on Steam, which I'm using at the moment, and I will link it below. His other career is the Huntsman and nobody uses it. The Foot Knight gives damage reduction to all nearby allies. Plus his abilities like the Mercenary's one pushes enemies around but he charges forward. I use it as a means of transport too. It's very useful for leaving your friends behind. A very useful weapon you can use with the Foot Knight is the Mason Shield. You can bash every enemy like a fucking retard and they'll helplessly watch you until you end their suffering. And one of my favorite quotes come from this class. Speaking of dialogue, I love it. It's either the characters roasting each other like 1st graders or complaining like children. I've gathered some art pieces. My personal favorites are Kruber's severe diarrhea problem.
Which of these 4 great Kazaki Grodfi is a slayer's dream?
Nurgle, which you'd understand if you'd ever had explosive dysentery. For instance, I mean, not personal experience.
Aye, Nurgle's a bad one. And you, they all are.
And the dwarf's mockery of the Saltman.
Don't waste healing.
It was necessary, Master Dwarf.
It was necessary, Master Dwarf.
There are more, but I will link a fellow YouTuber from whom I stole the 2 clips because I'm too lazy to search my own recordings. Kruber's last career is the Grey Knight, who uses 2 melee weapons and has missions, which builds the whole party. But he ain't free, he's a DLC. Almost every character has one, and I own them all. Our next hero is the average under 5'9" person, the dwarf. But as a representative of my manlet race, I can say, we may be small, but we're strong. While you tall men have short lives, we dwarven folk live centuries on and have this immense power you will never ever witness. You might be laughing now, but you'll be sorry later. Bardin Gorexon's first career is like the Kruber's marksman, but when you kill Spacious, they drop ammunition bags, which restore 10% of your ammo. The Iron Breaker is your thick armored boy. He can be used as a tank and be pounded without crying like you tofuts. The Slayer is like in the Warhammer lore, the ultimate Doom Seekers. You slaughter until you meet your glorious end, there is nothing else to live for, only a glorious death would satisfy your needs. The Outcast Engineer, a DLC career, is the ultimate dwarf gameplay peak. You equip your hammer, pistol or the flamethrower and get your minigun. This way you become the ultimate killing machine, not even a large horde could beat your minigun of doom. Victor Saltzpyre is a fanatical worshipper and a racist, and most of the Souls players I've seen are the sweatiest and most deranged people in the world. I've not really played the Witch Hunter, but he seems good at dodging and dealing with specials. The Bounty Hunter can almost one-shot bosses with his ability. The Zealot is the final stage of religious fanatism. The lower your health is, the more damage you do. I use the 2 hammers which with his ability boost your attack speed like crazy. But if someone heals you when you're at low health, you're allowed to end their whole bloodline. And the DLC career, the Warrior Priest of Sigmar, the ultimate ascension of righteousness. You're now the fate's true protector and no one can stop you. Your enemies shall fear your divine strength. Now the women, Kerillian is a wood elf and she kinda bad. We're lacking special material of her, if you know what I mean. 228, weak shit, boosted up. Plus, don't forget my man Kruber, crank him up. I've not played much of her careers besides the DLC one. She's a very good range hero and the Shade is a good boss killer. Sister of the Horn is the last career and she can summon a huge wall. One of her range weapons, which is available only to the DLC character, is the Staff. It's one of the most OP weapons I've seen. You can lift every enemy besides bosses and bully them to death. The last female character is an insane fire mage who burned her teacher and lover to death, called Sienna. She's a good arrow damage dealer, depends on which staff you use. But when you cast spells, a large bar gets filled. The more you cast, the more it fills. And when it reaches the end... But too bad she never rad. She still has no DLC career. That's all of the heroes in the game, but before I start talking about the 2 major expansions, I'll explain the boring stuff. You have an inventory system in which you can equip different kinds of weapons for every hero. You gain weapons through opening chests, which you receive at the end of a level. These chests can vary differently. There are hidden books in every map, and the more books you have collected, the better your chest is. Just search tomes for the specific maps on Google and pray to Ranout because he can be the final factor. The other way is by crafting weapons, but you need to dismantle weapons to gain materials to craft new ones. Through the crafting system you can make and upgrade weapons and reroll their properties. Weapons have different properties and rarities. If you're lucky you can gain bonuses which appeal to your playstyle. Weapons and heroes have cosmetics which can be unlocked through achievements from Oculus challenges or from the shop by the in-game's currency. You can level up your characters and by leveling up you unlock the other careers and get chests, unlock skill points and increase your power. Your power is the damage you deal, stagger level and reach of your swings. The higher the power, the better your character. For the skill points I will link a very useful guide below. Alright, now the expansions. Winds of Magic is mid. I tried it out and I died a lot. Maybe because I played it on a higher difficulty or maybe because it's sometimes confusing as fuck. There is this big cauldron where you can upgrade your weapons and amulet so you can put attributes in it. But your weapons attributes do not apply to the expansion's missions. In order to upgrade your artifacts you have to collect souls from the campaign. But nobody plays the game mode, plus I do not understand it. And The expansion added the Beastman, the biggest pain in the ass in the game. But the second expansion, Kills Waste, is my favorite game mode. I've played it more than 100 hours and I've never gotten tired of it. You can select 4 different expeditions, each one cursed by a different chaos god. When you embark on an expedition, you can choose which level to play. By completing a level, you earn buffs to your character. But throughout the level, you can buy boons and upgrade your weapons with pilgrimage coins found everywhere on the map. Some maps are cursed by the chaos gods and harden your expedition. The curses vary from big eggs, which spawn monsters, to big red tornadoes spread all around the place. And from an awesome patient roleplay to big flying bows. They are the chest of trials, which completed can give you to pick one of 3 boons. But if completed, because the game can either spawn easy targets to kill or 5 flag barriers. But when you complete an expedition, you gain a ton of XP, 3 max chests and a 4th one which varies. This is the game mode where I've seen the best and worst players in the game, and where I met an exploiter who crashed my game, but I still managed to rejoin it and I felt like a god. I'll give you one useful fact before I end the video. When you scroll down the achievements panel, for Chaos Wastes, there are the white skins which you can unlock. If you unlock the Kerillian's white skin and equip it, it makes her look a bit thicker and appealing to the horny mind. You're welcome. You can buy the game from Steam or from somewhere else cheaper, but that's between you and your dealer. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed the video, you're never safe, the skinwalkers will get you one day, adios mi amigos.